We are in the midst of a crisis.
The opioid epidemic, it's everywhere.
So last year in Craven County, we had 226 overdoses. Across the state, there were over 4,000 overdoses. That's just the ones that are reported. The main goal is to get people off of this, to stop this. How do we get them in these programs to get them off the streets and get them away from the heroin and the drugs?
The new year begins with a new law in North Carolina that many are hoping tackles one of the roots of the opioid crisis here in our state.
The thing that worries me is we're talking a lot about the opioid crisis, and there's been a ton of attention on that.
Leaders from across the state are here in Raleigh to address the opioid epidemic.
And I wonder, what are we going to see in the next 10, 15, 20 years from the children who have been impacted by this? How many children are growing up without a parent because their parent died from an overdose?
I've been doing OD where a person goes into a gas station bathroom, overdoses, and come to find out his child's in the car by himself, his infant child.
It's pretty easy to look at those parents and have an emotional reaction. Like, how could they? Or that's so selfish. And you're going to look at that kid in the back seat and you're going to say, my God, I've got a lot of compassion for this kid. What could I do to help this kid? What do you think the kid's risk is for ending up in the front seat like the parents? If a kid has parents with diabetes, the standard of care is that the pediatrician is going to assess for risk factors for diabetes. If we just change the scenario slightly and say, there's a kid and we know that one of his parents has a history of addiction, we really need to be focusing a lot on the multitude of risk factors for children that have been impacted by this latest crisis.